Hi Scrappy friends, this is Hannah with you today, and I am going to be sharing a layout with you that I did to go along with one of the challenges over in the Victoria Marie crop from this past weekend at the beginning of the month. So on the 1st and the 2nd, there were a whole lot of live challenges, and a whole bunch of people registered, including me and my friend Megan, and we were able to take part in a couple of the live things and watch, but we didn't actually really scrap during that weekend. Well, she did, I did not, but I made this when we got home. So I will say that this video is quite long because I did this while Megan was at my house, and I've realized that when people are over at my house, I take 3 times as long to scrap. So, but it also takes me quite a while because I decide, like a silly person, to do something more complicated than less complicated, and I'm going to cut each of these squares down and put them down with my ATG. So I'm going to show you this first top part, and I think the last part, and I won't make you watch the middle section because it took me a long time. I will say before I edited some of it out, it was like 7 minutes, and I didn't think you guys needed to watch me glue down squares for 7 minutes. And I thought about putting it like on fast, super fast, but I don't know. It didn't seem right. I thought it might be kind of like motion sickening. And I just cut them out. I did not put them in order in the way that they were on the paper. I figured that probably really didn't matter too much. So I'm just gluing them. I made sure that I put them on the top, like on the sides first, and kind of where the other papers were. So, because I figured that for the most part they should fit in that space. I did have a few that kind of overlapped a little bit, and I'm okay with that because it just creates a little bit of texture in the background. Also, you really can't see that much of these. So yes, I did all this work and you really only see a little bit of it. So now you're going to see, boom, I'm on the last bit. Like I said, this took me quite a while to do. I feel like when I was watching this while I was editing it, I felt kind of like crazy for doing this. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so crazy. But I'm really glad I did it because I feel like it looked really cool. It actually would have looked also really awesome if I had did some splatters on here too, but I did not. So, I am not sharing the sketch, however, because that it's from the crop, so you will only just see me put it together. I do, like most sketches, deviate a little bit, and I'm okay with that. I feel like a sketch is just like a little plan. It's a place to start. I don't know. How do you guys feel about sketches? Do you guys like to follow a sketch to the T, or do you like to add to it, or does it depend on the sketch? Because I do think sometimes it depends on the sketch. If it's a really, really simple sketch where there's a lot of room for you to do lots of things, I feel like that one is, it would probably look different. But so here is the whole thing all together, and then in a minute I'm gonna be cutting off the borders of my photos and all that good stuff. So I do kind of take a while to figure out what papers I want to use because I want to make this nice and summery because my photos look nice and summery. So yeah, I see that I left a lot in here where I wasn't doing stuff. I had to edit a lot out of this video, and there was a lot of me, like I said, not really doing anything, or I wasn't sure what I was doing. This is why I've definitely scrapped by myself a lot faster. But you know what? Sometimes when you scrap with someone with you, even though it takes you longer, it is just as fun. So it was really nice to have Megan with me. And I know she feels really bad because she got way more done than I did, but I think it's just because of how I scrap, and I'm okay with that. When I went to her house, I got a lot more done. And I think some of it is when you scrap at your own house, you can be really distracted by the things just in your house that you see or notice or whatever, and you're more comfortable there. Not to say that you don't get comfortable at like friends' house and stuff. So I'm trying to decide which two. So the sketch shows 3 pictures, and 2 of them were one size and one of them was a little bit bigger. But all the photos that I use are different sizes. I'm not really sure how that happened, except for that, I don't know. I guess I didn't realize that I printed, because some of them I had printed off a different day. So I did print off 2 extra photos than those first 2. And I decided to use that one of this part of the bridge, because you can see it more straight. And this layout is kind of about that bridge. I've done a couple of layouts with some of similar photos to these from that day. Me and my family, we went to a place called Deception Pass, and it is super gorgeous there. And there's so many trees, and you have this big, long bridge, and you can walk across it. I say it's long. It's long, but it's not that long. I mean, it's crazy, though, because it's really, really high up. And so you go over it, and you park, or you can park before, but there's not a whole lot of parking before. And you can go and walk around there, and then you can go and find like beaches and stuff. There's like some beachy areas around there. It's a really pretty area. I mean, like all of the Puget Sound area, it's like trees and then water, and the water looks gorgeous. I think it has something to do with the algae in the water. Like, because of all of the green from the trees, I feel like the water, it looks more tropical-y than I would have expected in some of these places. But it is super, super freezing cold. But anyway, so we walked across the bridge, and we took quite a bit of pictures from around that area. And it was just a really fun, nice time to go and do something different, because we haven't really visited the beach here that much in Washington. So we did this last summer in June. And I thought that this paper, this green one, this is Heidi Swap. It's the Art Walk collection, which I really like that collection. It's super fun. There's some vintagey things, but lots of paint. And so if you like that kind of artsy stuff and you don't really want to do the work, a lot of these papers are really awesome for that. And so there are some layers. So I'm going to build some layers. I know I kind of deviate from the way some of the layers were, but I'm okay with that. Here's another one of the Art Walk papers. And I just really love, like, this is like paint crackled, like on a wall or something. I don't know. It's just really fun. Super fun. And that pink and that green really go with. So I am going to mat these photos, and I want to put them on there and make them, so that I decided that some of them shouldn't be all the way on the paper. So I'm going to kind of put this. I wish that you could see this a little bit more, but I was down a little bit further. I'm still getting used to my desk setup. So I think this is how I'm going to keep it. I feel like when Megan was here, that was one thing she kind of helped me, because I feel like I had some areas on my desk that worked and some that didn't. And I feel like this is a little bit better than some of my other things. The last few videos before Megan came, I had a little bit too much off to the side. It was a little bit flatter, but anyway, you guys don't probably need to know all that, but so yeah. So I also wanted to use some of this white paper. So I'm trying to get it like kind of crooked on purpose, but I really screwed it up. So I had to take this off, and I just ended up cutting it. And I wanted more to go off the top and bottom, but yeah, it's not going to do that. And I just have to kind of be okay with it and not be upset that I just cut through more of that paper, because I really wanted to be able to use a little bit more of it, which, I mean, I'll still be able to use it, but, and then I'm going to use some of this. This is a Paige Evans paper. This is newer as well. I think I used a lot of new stuff that I have bought in recently. A lot of it is super summery, so I'm going to just put this in the sketch. There is a layer that kind of goes off some of the side, and it's kind of hard to explain without the sketch, but I'm going to put this in the layer. And so it is going to cover up a lot of that, those squares that I took all that time to do, but I'm okay with that. And that's why I lifted it up just a little bit so that you could see both the top and the bottom square. I really felt like that was necessary to do, because I did do all that work and I didn't want all of it to go to waste. So that all those photos are on like 2 of them are on Pop Dots, and then I put that whole thing on Pop Dots because I really wanted you to be able to see the texture of the fact that I individually glued each one of those on. I thought about sewing them all on too, but I really didn't know, like, I thought that would take too much time and be really messy. So, because you really don't want to use that much glue. I thought about using that Brave. I don't end up using it. I really like the coppery color with all that green and like teal color. So this is later. This is another day. Because can I even finish layout at one time? No, apparently not. Which is fine. And then I found this little chipboard piece from the Here and There collection, and it said beach, pool, and I just kept the beach part. I was like, why do I need to use the whole thing? And so I was glad, because I went through and I searched for some stuff from Here and There. I found some stuff from Maggie Holmes. There is a few pink paisley things. And then I fussy cut the leaves off of Maggie Holmes flowers because I really liked the leaf colors, but I do not want to keep the flowers. So I'm going to use those for part of my layers in a few minutes, but right now I'm just working on getting all these tags. So I'm just kind of playing around, figuring out where I want them. Really just want them to add some extra interest. And if you guys can't hear me that well and you hear a cat purring, it's because my cat apparently loves me a lot right now. She really likes my scrap room. So you can say hi to Amberly. I'm not sure if you can hear her. She's really loud though. And so I wanted to mimic on the bottom a lot of the embellishments that I used up at the top. I do not end up with this blue one because I just couldn't fit it in there where I thought it looked that great. Which is okay. I mean, you don't have to use the top and the bottom, but I thought it would look good to have like some of those similar colors. And I really like how a lot of those colors are similar in general. I'm going to use this little banner thing. And I do put that on Pop Dots. So, I'm sorry if you guys can hear my kids. They're like super loud. They're playing next door to me. And it says walking on sunshine. And I thought that was fitting for walking on a bridge. I mean, it was sort of sunny when we were going on the bridge. I mean, really at this point, it's just figuring out where I want things and how much do I really want on this layout. I think that really is how this works. So I did find this piece that said beach. Now, it had yellow on it, and I didn't really want to incorporate that yellow. So I just ended up tucking in the yellow part underneath for part of the, in the layer. So it really helps. And then you get that same color that was up at the top. And then I'm going to just kind of add these leaves. They really don't necessarily need to be here, but I really do like the pop of the greens and teal colors that this provides. So I'm going with it. And if you guys have been watching my channel recently, I have been using a lot more floral elements, and that's kind of unlike me. I usually don't, but I feel like when I have little pieces like this and I can tuck them in, there's just something satisfying about tucking them in. It's like finding a little crevice for it, and I keep knocking my desk. So, and I will apologize right now that the sun was really bright on the second part of this video, so now the bottom of my layout looks a little blown out. So I'm sorry. I tried to fix the lighting in editor, but it wasn't gonna work without it being too yellow. It just was really sunny. I mean, I really can't complain because the sun is nice. So I'm just playing around, and they're just little tiny bits because, like I said, I cut them off of the flowers. So it just adds a little bit more of that green. I mean, there is tons of green in that layout because of the photos, and then I'm going to pop this in right there. That adds a little bit more pink, that dark pink that was off at the other side. I did have to add a little bit more. Now, so I wanted to put this tag that says the weekend. I really wanted to nestle it in there, but I couldn't get it in there to look just right. And then I think, oh, I can stick it up at the top, but I think I end up not leaving it there. If I remember correctly, I think I took it off. So, and I don't think I used that tag either that had the number on it. I thought about using that too, just to add a little bit of copper, because on the photo there is a piece that had copper, and I'm going to use these. These are from Fancy Pants. Really like how fun they are. Yep, there it goes. I knew I took it off. So I kind of play around, like, do I want it up here? The title was supposed to be down like underneath in that little pocket underneath the photos. And I am going to put it back there. I end up using this camera, kind of play around. I liked it there. I liked it there. I think I thought about moving it later, and I did try to move it a little bit, but I was afraid it was going to rip my paper. So I just left it. I think it would have looked better on the other side, but I don't really know. Not really sure. There probably was a good place to make that center, like to balance it. So it's fine. Sometimes once you stick that chickboard down, it is stuck. Sometimes it doesn't. You just never know. But when it sticks, it sticks. So all of these have pop outs on them because they are on top of those papers that were each, I curled up the edges a little bit so that they did look textured. And it's going to say wild. And then it's going to say wild view of deception, I think is what it's going to say, because the name of the bridge is Deception. And I think it's called Deception Point, if I'm not mistaken. And like in the area, you can go around and walk around and really see a lot of stuff. So, or from Deception, Wild Views. See, I can't even remember what I did the title. I'm sorry if you guys can hear like all that loud noise. Apparently my family forgets that because my door is closed, it means I'm doing a voiceover. I need a sign that says voiceover. I guess I shouldn't expect them not to have fun. It is a Friday afternoon. But anyway, so I do move this over a little bit because I felt like it looked too weird. I really don't like all that open space, but I didn't know how else. It really was just going to have open space there. And then I'm going to add a couple of these puffy stickers. These are like super fun puffy stickers. I thought about adding the green, but then I save it. And I figure, if I don't use them all on this layout, then I have more. And then I will use some of these enamel dots. They're super cute too. And then this layout is done. So thank you guys for joining me. I noticed, and I'll make sure I have a link below to it, that Victoria posted about upcoming crops that she's going to be doing in the fall time. So definitely check that out. Her pricing is awesome and amazing. And if anything, if the other crops are anything like this last one, it's going to be phenomenal. So definitely check out and make sure that when she announces those ones, the registration for those ones are open. You look into that because it was super fun. It was super fun to have some time to spend with a lot of other crafters and just play along. And I'm going to be playing along all month. So you'll probably see a lot more layouts from her crop. And, yeah, so I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys are thoroughly inspired this week, and I will see you guys later. Bye.